Mori is going to finish way before that. I can tell you that. I can tell you that already. Um, but yeah, let's go. The run is starting when he takes when Red takes the sword out of the body of her lover. So the name of the main character is Red, and she's mute because she lost her voice for a reason that is to be seen in the story. I won't spoil it. This sword that is actually called the brush allows her to use abilities, and all this game is based around this system of abilities that basically are totally different from each other, and you can combine them to create like more powerful abilities with different, different power-ups. You also have this main ability that you're going to see now that is turn. So turn is really important in casual playthrough. It's actually really important in speedrun too because you were going to use it to glitch the game. But basically, what turns does is like you have a set number of actions you can do in one turn, and you just plan your turn, and then all the actions are going to do themselves in the chain. We're not going to use it much in combat because it's actually much faster to go real-time fighting because you can just chain your abilities. While if you use turn, after using the turn, you have a cooldown where you cannot use any abilities. So he did the first fight. There's almost every fight in the game has a very clear setup, and if you mess it up, you're going to lose time. So that's why it's a really great run. He got the setup, so he got the three little black ones, and then the second cell. He's going to get a new ability there that's called Spark. That's going to be one or two main ways of damage in the game. Basically, it just makes sparks in front of you, like an explosion of sparks. It's really cool. So now we're gonna see a few different enemies. So mainly you'll see these creeps that have 3 legs and shoot rays of light in front of them. Now we're gonna see the damsels. I think that's their name. They're really annoying in casual playthrough because the first time you hit them, young ladies, sorry. First time you hit them, they'll just teleport away. And when you kill them, they spawn a lot of these cells, and if you don't collect them all, after 3 seconds, these cells become bad cells that get one shot, but are really annoying because you need to clean them up. Now we're gonna get the most broken ability in the game, that is dash. That's gonna allow us to break so many things. Like right now, we're playing the game as it's intended. When we finish this level, when we get to canals, the game is gonna get really broken. I mean, you shouldn't be able to finish this game under 50 minutes. It's like, no. But let's just say turn and the dash abilities are combined together are really broken. So here he's going to fight this tank. Those tanks are really easy to destroy if you're not afraid to lose health. There's also one important system that we shouldn't see used in this run because it's for losers. But basically, when you lose when your entire health bar is depleted, first you'll get an emergency turn that will actually exploit for one glitch. But then you lose one ability slot, and you won't be able to use this ability slot again before passing 2 checkpoints. And then if you lose one more, it's 3 checkpoints. So it can be really punishing. And if you want to do like a casual playthrough of the game is not too hard, but it can really be really stressful at some points. I hope you can actually hear me. You should be able to hear me. So just finished the first level, and now we're gonna get crazy. So we're gonna do first canal skip right now. So no, we're not gonna do it now. What are you saying? I'm stupid. Sorry. There's one level before we do the stupid skips. Sorry about that, guys. Well, actually, we're gonna do one minor skip in this level, but nothing major. In low percent, we actually do some major breaks in there. But in 80%, we want to have experience because it's going to allow us to take one ability that's going to be the core of our damage, and that's load. So what load basically does is it creates a ball on the ground that explodes when you use an ability on it. And so the main combo is going to be load into spark, and that's going to be mainly like one-shotting enemies. So this way we can just clean up fights really easily. So I didn't explain it really well, I think, but there is a leveling up system in this game that gives you access to more abilities. You will also drop abilities on bosses. But yeah, so here he has a very clear setup. It's always the same. It can actually get fucked up because the creeps that with their lasers can actually push you back, and you can get fucked on your setup. Here is going to kill the 2 weeds, and then he's going to try to kill the 3 weeds on the back because you always want to kill the weeds first because the weeds actually give back health to other units, as you can see right now. And here he fucked up his setup. He lost 10 seconds. That's basically Transistor. Like, speedrunning Transistor is ruthless because you can learn everything right, and sometimes just one AI will not behave, and you lose 10 seconds. Here is just going to use this packet. So as you can see, these packets is what load's going to spawn. And as you can see, they do a lot of damage. So now he's going to change some abilities. So he's going to use the ping pong one. We never use it pretty much. Actually, you can use it, but I never use it in run. I mean, I stopped running the game 11 months ago, so I shouldn't talk, really. But yeah, so you can see he has load with bridge as a passive, which allows him to do more damage on those loads. And then he has a spark with the break ability, I think that's the name of it, which basically makes enemies vulnerable to other abilities. So the combo is really nasty, and the best damage combo in the game at this level. Actually, I've tried in my casual playthrough to go for 100%, and there are some better combos in late game, but we never get to use them because we don't get enough experience for it. So here we're going to see a little skip. It's actually intended, but I didn't know it was there. Like, it's not intended, but it's just so obvious. Here is just walking out of the screen because he needs to force the screen transition by walking out of it. And we're gonna come to the biggest piece of shit RNG in the game, which is Sybil. So Sybil is a boss that has she has three lives, and basically each time you kill her, she will spawn in random places units. And there's one unit that you never want her to spawn, and it's a cheerleader. So what the cheerleader basically does is it focuses on one of its allies, like the nearest ally, and it just gives it a invulnerability shield. It's really hard to say, but basically all our setup is based on blowing Sybil up every time she spawns back. But if she spawns those cheerleaders, you're fucked. Because then she can teleport across the map, and there's a lot of enemies, and you lose a lot of health. So I really hope for Muri's sake that he gets a good Sybil. If you get the timing right, you should be able to get it perfectly. But yeah. So here we have some story, we have some beautiful music, and this is one of my favorite video music of all time, like video game music of all time. It's just fantastic. Like the voice of the singer is just incredible. So here we are back at the start of the game in the story, and like you're afraid, and you find the blade, and then you start the game. So basically, it explains some things, but if you really want to know the story, you'll have to actually use your abilities in different order to unlock lore aspects of these abilities, because basically every ability you get is a soul of someone you picked up, which is how you learn you learn the lore. So here, as you can see, he did the first setup right, second right, and this is where the cheerleaders can spawn. But normally it should be okay. Fine, perfect. Okay, you got the perfect Sybil. It is possible to fuck it up. Like, just know that. Sybil is gonna give you one ability that we'll only use in the last boss, that is Companion, or I think it's named Companion. I'm not sure, but I think it's named Companion. No, Help. Sorry, Help. Which is really powerful in the last fight, but not useful at all in other places. So now we're getting to the glitchy part of the game. Now we're getting to the skips, boys. So, okay, to understand what's going to happen, you need to understand that when you use some certain objects, the hitbox of threat disappears and then reappears. So basically, you get into a no-clip state, and we're gonna abuse that by entering a turn on the first frame. You get out of these transition zones to maintain a no-clip state and basically be able to run across the map. It's not possible everywhere. Here it's going to be possible because it's just at the start of the game, and as you're gonna see, he's gonna use a turn on the first possible time where the game loads to confuse the game, to be able to go to the transition zone and unlock the glitch. In the biggest skip of the game, we'll use another method, but I'll explain it at this moment because it's really hard to explain. So yeah, you're gonna see it. So he starts it, he lags out the game a bit, and then let's see if he gets it first try. See, he uses these transition zones, give you no clip, and here, yeah, it just goes around the map, and that's this part of the level done. And so two limitations, two reasons why we can't use this everywhere is, first, these transition zones are generally never where you want them to happen. And second, you cannot do it in every transition zone, and I don't know why. Like, I don't think anyone knows why. Here he's gonna skip some fights, he's gonna focus on the second light, and just like the enemy spawn, but the boundaries of the fight don't. Here is going to do the same thing, just go here, go there, and here instead of 12 enemies spawning, only 6 spawn, and they don't really spawn. Like, they're here, but they're not here. Which allows us to get free experience and finish the fights twice as fast. So this chapter is going to be pretty much only skipping levels. The way we skip levels is actually abusing some pixels that are missing in the triggers. Like, it's not like it's fat hitboxes missing or whatever. No, it's like pretty much most of the skips involve 4 to 5 maximum pixel space. So, it's not that easy. Okay. Don't. Okay, so here he fucked up his. He sadly fucked up his setup. So no, he's gonna have to wait for the turn to go by. There's also a mechanic that we shouldn't see in the game, but basically these cells that are, oh god. So these cells that drop on the floor, they stay on the floor for 10 seconds, and you need to pick them up before 10 seconds, or the enemies respawn. Which is really stupid. Here it bonked, it happened, it's fine, not a problem. So now he's gonna dash right around the corner on the second light on the ground and then dash over there. It's a very hard skip to do. He just did it on third try. It's really great. Just skipped an entire fight. And now we're done with canals. So yeah, now we're gonna get to high rise and we're gonna get to the real messy part of the game, because this was just glitches. Now we're gonna get to full skips, like full on skips. So first elevator fight, we can skip it. There's no way to do it. It's fully set up though. We know where every enemy is gonna spawn, and we can kill them as they're spawning. So this fight is pretty good to just practice your setup actually. So he spawns two lows as very definite places. And yeah, it just kills the two crypts. He's gonna kill the two weeds around here, and then he's gonna spawn two more loads to kill the two spies that are gonna spawn. Yeah, they're not called spies, but I call them spies because snapshots. Yeah, basically they're just imagine there are people taking selfies of you, and if they take a selfie of you, you're actually vulnerable and you cannot see what you're doing. It's really annoying. Thankfully, we'll never fight them head on. We'll always one-shot them like that. They are really annoying enemies. So here is going to do a really big fight. It's taking a checkpoint. It's fair. It's really hard. So we're going to trick the game into thinking we are in combat without being in combat. First try, perfect. So now all the enemies are going to trigger, but because the game thinks you are in the first fight, none of the bandaries that you see usually spawning on the ground around the fights are going to spawn. It's pretty much what we use in some places. In other places, we just entirely skip the triggers of the fights. Here, it's like we don't skip the fight itself because the enemies still spawn, because like it's a big spawn location. But the trigger to the fighting grounds doesn't appear. So basically, this is like a 3-minute time save compared to the 4 fights that you're going to do, something like that. And now okay. So this is a big one. The biggest skip in the game. It skips 6 minutes of gameplay, maybe more if you fail your setups in every fight. So we're gonna abuse the no-clip state again. Which is, it's pretty fun to say, because like I actually didn't know it was abusing the no-clip state before I was talking with Half-Life 2 runners that told me, hey, that's what's happening in Transistor 2. So I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, because they do that in Norway, of course, in Half-Life. So here is going to spawn a big tentacle that comes from the ground. He fucked up his turn. It happens. It's okay, Mori. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, but you're bad. So basically, he's going to take damage from this big tentacle. Here, you see, and he's going to abuse the emergency turn that I talked to you about at some point, I think. So he's going to enter this terminal over there, and while he's in the terminal where he shouldn't be able to move, he's gonna get the emergency triggered by the damage from the big spine, because the game is not paused. And then I fucked up. It's okay. It's really hard. I'm not judging him. It's really hard. It's like probably the hardest skip in the game. So now I have more time to explain it. So it's gonna be in these OVC terminals. So when he's in emergency turn, he can move while on the OVC terminal. Then while still being on the OVC terminal, he's doing it right now. So he can take some damage early, then take damage here. Okay, so let me finish explaining. This is actually really hard to explain. So then he's gonna trigger a transition zone from what I told you about from the canal skip. And then it's going to close the OVC terminal prompt, and it's going to allow him to start a new turn right here. And now he's in no clip state. And here he's going to skip straight to the boss. It's 2 minutes of dashing straight up the tower. There's... I don't remember the number of fights because I've actually done it only in my casual playthrough. But yeah, it's the biggest skip in the game, and it looks awesome because you actually see like the behind the scenes. He still needs to trigger some parts of the tower, or the camera won't move up. And now that he's in this no clip state, you can see he has no HP, but it doesn't matter because you're invincible when you're in this state. And now, so he's just gonna navigate blind using his keyboard to get to the boss zone. It allows us to skip one fight and one elevator sequence. And then he's going to use turn to recenter the camera on himself and just kill the boss. Here, right there. He did it perfectly. And now he's going to be on the head of the boss, which is supposed to be impossible, and just use loads, 3 loads each time, because the boss actually has some limits, like some damage thresholds, so you can't put more damage than that. So yeah, I actually perfect second try higher skip. So really good Muri. He's on a really good pace for a marathon run. So now we kill the spine, which is a big bad monster. And now, well, we still have some glitches, guys. I mean, up until the last, well, just before the last fight, the game is totally glitched. Because the developers had the bad idea of actually coding great abilities that, you know, are impactful on the game, and changing the state of the character and things like that, you know. I mean, I love Supergiant games. They made awesome games. Like, I've played other games, and they're actually a small indie team. I don't know how many people there are now at Supergiant games, but they're awesome. Just check these games out. Transistor is like the best soundtrack ever. Pyre, from what I understand, is really cool. And Bastion, well, Bastion was their first game, so it's a bit, you know, rough on some edges, but actually a lot of people prefer Bastion to Transistor, just because the turn system feels so weird to some people. But yeah. So now let's get to maintenance swing. We got one fight skip right at the start, so we're gonna teleport right on this launcher, then teleport on the left between these two barrels, and there, and we just skip the fight. Now this fight, we're gonna need to do it really fast. So we now have some updated versions of the enemies. So the weeds, when you damage them for the first time, they actually spawn another weed. So you need to damage them once first, then put the load, then blow them up. The cluckers, so these mortar guys, now they the explosions that they launch, they disrupt you, so you can't use abilities in them. Well, you can't use turn. You can use abilities, but not turn. And now we're gonna get to the third no-clip skip of the game. So he's gonna use the turn to get into this OVC terminal and on the launcher, so he's moving at the same time. He's gonna use his transition zone and quit the OVC, start the turn, and now he's not in no-clip state, and he can skip this fight. It's a really big fight too, because you are against a Young Leaf 2.0 that is a big piece of trash. It just activates the OVC, goes back down the gondola. And now we're gonna get to the archive wing. It's a bit funnier actually. The archive wing is only fight skips. It's like nothing fancy like a no-clip skip, but it's really impressive to watch if you know the casual layout of of the place. So first, we're gonna do the easiest fight skip in the game. Just dash to the right, dash to the right, dash to the right. Yeah, that's it. Like anyone can do it. It's super easy. Then we're gonna do a semi fight skip like we did in canals. So instead of spawning 8 enemies, we're gonna spawn 2 just by dashing there. So starting the combat from a non-standard position makes only these 2 snapshots appear. Normally there would be 6 more enemies in the back, or 4. I'm not sure anymore. Then another fight skip, there should be a big fight here, but he just dashed to the right of the stairs. He activates the obvious terminal and goes back down. And now the fight that's supposed to be actually the boss fight of this place, because there's no boss fight at the end. We're gonna use a big setup here. So we don't draw aggro, just so we can put our loads down and basically one-shot anyone. So 3 loads on the right, yeah, that's done. I didn't have enough time to explain. It's just like you want to one-shot the cheerleader on the left, and then one-shot the tank on the right, so the cheerleader can buff up the tank, and then you're good. Basically, that's all you need to do. So now some story. Well, we're like, oh yeah, when we get out of here, spoilers. They don't get out. No. Yeah, the ending of this game makes me cry every time, even when I'm speedrunning. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm bad. Anyways, let's just get some story down. Those 2 guys suicided. I think I'm a bit. Wait, I'm just gonna reload the stream just to make sure I'm actually on point. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I'm on point. It's fine. So he uses the OVC terminal to get the message. When he gets the 2 souls, it's not souls. It's supposed. I don't remember traces. It's called traces. It's like digital traces, you know. But I actually prefer to call them souls because you can actually learn some lore from them. But you know. So he actually skips some dialogue there by going really fast. It's really easy to do. It saves like 3 seconds, something like that. Then he uses a process swarm and jumps on it, and we have another loading / cutscene. Actually, those are really good to chill, you know, in a run. He's on an okay pace. I mean, Sybil was good to him, which is like one of the main choke points in a run is Sybil. So now we're actually gonna go back to the where we killed Sybil, and we're gonna do 1 skip. It's not a skip; it's a setup on the first fight. Appearing, we're gonna instantly dash to the bottom right, which is gonna drop aggro from 1 dog that appears, which gives us time to kill the weeds so that the dog won't regenerate, and so that we can kill him really easily. Because those dogs 2.0 actually stun you when they hit you, and it's super annoying because you cannot put a load down. Because load, as you can see, like the load animation is super long. So yeah, it's a really good setup. So here he dashes to the right, and now the dog in the middle just, you know, he's fine, he's chilling, and here it just attracts him. The fight is done. Here we're gonna use a turn just to go a bit further with our abilities because. Like you're supposed to be unable to use your abilities at this point, so it just allows us to skip. I think it's 5 seconds of walking. We'll skip like that. Now we come to one of the, for me, most annoying fight skips because it's really like almost pixel perfect. So as you can see, he's gonna hug the left side. Oh yeah, that makes sense. This fight is really annoying. He's taking a checkpoint. I totally respect that. So he hugs this wall, and then you need to jump at a very precise location. And he got it. First try. Yeah, that's awesome. Like this is also really hard to do, and obviously you don't take the checkpoint if you are in a PB pace run, and when you just fail it, your run is over because the fight is at least 40 seconds long, and you know you just can't take it back. Sorry about that. My voice is a bit rash because there was a festival of light in Lyon, so I was out all night before that. But anyways, it's not about me. So now we're gonna do another really easy fight skip because they forgot to put a trigger right there. Yeah, just like easy, go on the side. So here you just break these blocks, and we're gonna meet actually the main enemies of the last level, the men. They're called man. They all have a small gimmick, but this one you're just gonna one shot because he only spawns when you get past this roadblock. So the black ones, the black men. So every man does the same thing, which is dash around really fast and spawn some little black and red shit that like almost one shots you every time it touches you, which is really annoying because they're like explosive packets, but they just roam around. And so the black ones, while they are dashing, are invincible. Like they just, they get cloaked, and so you cannot touch them. The red ones do more damage than the others, and I think that's it at least. And the green ones regenerate health when after you're not touching them. So all of the men fights have a very precise setup that is really easy to fuck up. So don't worry, Mori. I won't. I fucked these fights up so much, but I won't say anything. So here it's just gonna go through the nursery. You don't need to do anything here. Just dash to the exit. It got cock blocked. It's fine. It's fine because like he's not gonna need his health right here because you can just spawn 4 loads, and then the tank is just gonna suicide. Actually, those are named jerks, but I call them tanks because that's what they are. Okay, so we don't have any fight skip left in this level. We just have one fight with 2 men, with a very precise setup. It is really hard to execute because basically it requires you to, on the first, I don't know, 5 frames of the fight, just dash away so the men don't see you and don't aggro you. So you have time to do your shit. Oh, actually you can walk. Okay, I'm stupid. Well then, I actually stopped running this game a while ago, so it's not my fault. No, it is my fault. But yeah, so that's how it's done when the fight is good. When the fight is bad, you just cry. The get ability that you just got is actually extremely useful for the man fights, because basically it pulls enemies towards you, and so we can just put some nodes on the ground. Use get to gather all the men around and just one-shot them. That's gonna be pretty much a setup for the 2 of the 3 men fight. No, actually, all the men fight is going to be like that. Yeah. So here, cutscene. This guy you're gonna end up killing. Spoilers. Well, I mean, he's a TV right now, but he's not a TV, So here you're just gonna spawn a bridge because you have a brush, so you can do whatever you want with reality. That's actually the whole plot of the game. Basically, the 4 people that you kill, well, except for the 2 that suicided, created this matter, like this thing that can absorb other particles, other matter, and just repurpose it. And basically, they just wanted to create a perfect world, like a utopia, where they could, decide whatever they wanted to do. It would just spawn. And of course, it developed, like their creation developed a conscience and just started absorbing everything. Um, so actually, the guy at his heart really wants to help you, and then you kill him. So here we're gonna use load with breach as always. We're gonna use a get with no, we're using get with breach and whatever the name of the first ability is. I don't remember it now, which is really annoying. Just to make enemies vulnerable when you grab them and have more range. Then the load, of course, to kill them. Then we have the spark to trigger our load. So here you can see double get, load, spark, and that's pretty much what you want to do for each man. And sometimes the men just won't die, just like that. And now you're fucked. Like, you need to wait. Actually, like, he got lucky because he got most of the damage, but I don't know why sometimes they do that. And he also took dash with the cloak ability, but I'll talk about that later because what it just did is checkpoint abuse. So we're clicking on a checkpoint, going far away from the checkpoint, using turn, dashing on the checkpoint, and then dashing the furthest away possible. And basically, we're gonna have the checkpoint, but in the middle of the fight. And then we're gonna reload to checkpoint, and we're gonna be reloaded past the trigger, so the fight won't happen. It's only of use here and on one last part of the game. It's not for a fight. Here, this fight is a piece of shit. You need to spawn one load, then use free get, then use another load, then use another spark. And if you miss it, you're dead. Like, not dead, mostly dead. Well, the green one is okay because you can suicide on them, so it's fine. So yeah, he used dash with cloak. It actually protects you for 0.25 seconds after you dash, so you don't take any damage, which is pretty good. And like, you don't aggro enemies. It's pretty okay. Pretty okay. It's really good combo actually to have in casual playthrough because it can save you a lot. And he has a ping. I don't know why. I don't remember why you have a ping as passive. He just skipped the fight, by the way. Just 2 dashes, and I don't know why, but the trigger isn't there. Like, you don't do anything special. The trigger just isn't there. And here we're gonna hug the wall and pray he does it first try. Yeah, first try. Perfect. Here, second checkpoint abuse. He's gonna take the checkpoint. Fair enough. So you take the checkpoint, you go far away, you dash on the checkpoint, and then we're gonna dash all the way here, take the checkpoint, restart the checkpoint, and it's gonna skip a trigger that forces us to walk instead of using our abilities, which is gonna skip, I think it's 30 to 40 seconds, because normally you have to wait for these walls, these orange walls to come down. Here you don't have to do that. You can just dash around. Dash around. Yeah, and we are coming on the last boss fight. It's a really interesting boss fight. Basically, the gimmick of it is you're fighting yourself because the final boss has all your abilities, and he also has the ability to use turn. And basically, he has four lives, and every time you kill him, he has a different moveset. Actually, the way we kill him, if the setup is done correctly, again, it's a question of setup. He will only attack us once, because on the first turn he actually cheats and goes before you. But I would love for him to for the fight to go well. He's actually, if he does a boss first try, he's gonna beat my PB, which is fair enough because my PB is shit anyway. So I don't feel bad at all. I don't feel bad. It's fine. Okay, so Here it's all the story that you finally killed the AI, but now there's only one brush and one person that can take the brush outside of outside of the AI, like the structure. Okay, so it's hard because like there's only one person that controls the brush, and they are in the brush right now. Like their spirits are in the brush. So basically, she's trying to like you need to kill him. Okay, so first we're gonna use help with the stun ability. Then we're gonna use the dash on our passive, which gives us 30% turn cooldown reduction. Load with breach to be able to do our loads from further away, and spark. And so basically, what help can do, it spawns a dog, and we put the breach ability, no breach, not breach, stun ability on it. What's the name of it? Bark ability on it, which is going to stun him and make him vulnerable, and he's going to get one shot. And we're going to do that each time, and because we have the passive 30% turn cooldown reduction, he won't ever be able to do one turn. And like the setup is done now, it's fine. It just has to do that twice, and we're done. But actually, we're not done with the game because you need to play one last walking level. But I can already tell it's better than the PB, so congrats, Muri. It was a pretty awesome run. Absolutely no major mistakes. Some fights that didn't go perfectly well. Look at the Dogo in the picture. Yeah, some fights didn't go well, but that's the nature of Transistor speedrunning. Like, but that's just how that's just how it always happens. It's fine. Basically, you cannot control it. Like, just sometimes the game will just fuck you over because there's supposed to be setups, but the AI just doesn't follow your setups sometimes. By the way, so we use in-game time for this game. The game is pretty much dead right now. But if you want to learn the speedrun, I actually did, I think, a pretty complete guide. Like Murray learned from my guide. As I said, like there's not a lot of RNG. Like apart from Sybil, which can fuck you up. Other than that, it's always about respecting the setups. And if you don't, well, you're fucked. But yeah, if you want to take on the game, go on speedrun.com. We don't have a Discord actually, but sorry, we do have guides. We have an in-game timer because this game can have very variable load times, and I mean it could be great to revitalize the game if you want true difficulty. Low percent is extremely hard because it's only skips. Like it's incredible, and the killing the final boss is just so hard. Okay, so with all that said and done, now I'm gonna cry because this ending makes me cry every time. But I don't know why. It just like it just makes me cry. But yeah, anyways, 4250 is amazing for a marathoner. Like it's fantastic. And GG Mori, it was a great time. Had a great time commentating for the English stream. I hope everything was well for everyone. And yeah, just don't hesitate to check out the speedrun. The Transistor speedruns on speedrun.com. So yeah, it's been the handsome historian. I will just go out now. I think it's Street of Rage next. With I think we're going for good ending right now from what I see in the incentives, and good ending is actually like 10 minutes faster than bad ending, so it's pretty cool. For my part, I'm just gonna go to sleep because I need to like actually be awake tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm out.
On n'a pas les